Due to the graphic nature of the subject matter and strong language used, listener discretion is advised.
So much I wanted to message you, but I couldn't.
I know, dude. We haven't talked to each other about this just because it's so fucking nuts. But I'm so excited to talk about this.
I am too. I've been withholding. Every time I bring your little bubble up, sometimes like you're an ex-girlfriend, and I just want to lay my feelings out
for a few minutes.
Yeah. Oh God, are we recording?
Yeah, we are.
I'm excited for this, dude.
Me too, dude.
For
this
real.
one's gonna be a good one.
I actually read stuff. I listened to a couple of things. I read an article from a newspaper.
I read a few articles too, man.
You probably read a lot of the same articles.
I read one from the History Channel. I read one from the Kentucky Times. I read quite a bit.
The one thing I couldn't get a hold of, because I didn't try hard enough probably, was I wanted to read like the actual police report.
Yeah, I couldn't find that either, man.
Would have been in cursive, by the way, probably at the time. Maybe. Or do you think the Suttons wrote with
I don't think the Suttons could write at all.
Okay, can we talk about a factoid about the actual Sutton case before we get into
it? No. So we'll talk about it. So first of all, welcome to the Outpost.
Yeah. Welcome to the Outpost.
This is Ranger Roo.
And Ranger Chuck.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, what's up? We're going to talk about monsters today.
We're going to talk about fucking...
It's one of my favorite monsters.
Aliens?
No. Don't put...
Goblins?
Why do you got to put a label on it?
I don't know, man.
Don't put baby in a corner. Don't put him in a box.
Beautiful. Oh my God, this story is so stupid, and I love it so much.
And you know what? I reread so much, obviously, to get ready for this. And there's so much stuff that just kept... People would repeat the same story over and over again.
I never got tired of it.
I never got tired of it. I never got tired of it, but I did think, like, doesn't anyone have a harebrained theory about this that hasn't already been said? I want to talk about it. I got theories, and they're stupid, but I want to talk about them.
I've got theories, and it's the most mundane thing I can think of.
No, don't. We'll get into it, all right? You want to tell a story? Because you're the storyteller around here.
Well, first things first, how you doing? How you been? How's this last week been?
I've been working a lot. Hey, I got a date Saturday. Ooh.
I put in my 2 weeks at my job.
Oh, how'd they take it?
I did. They were fine.
That's almost an insult, isn't it?
They said fuck it. So
they knew it was coming, dude. Ranger Rory got kind of fucked over at work recently, so they're...
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm over
it. It is, because to hell with them. You're not even going to work there anymore.
So before we begin tonight's episode, while I was doing all this research, I found some jokes. I found some spooky jokes that I'd like to tell you.
Excuse me?
I found some spooky jokes. Do you want to hear one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't edit out that pause.
Okay, I won't. Okay, so the first one is, what do you get when an abominable snowman makes pasta?
I don't know, Ranger Rory. What do you get?
You get spaghetti. Spaghetti.
Tell the next joke, Rory.
Okay. What is a skeleton's favorite instrument?
I've heard this before. What? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. A skeleton's favorite instrument?
What's a skeleton's favorite instrument?
I want to say the xylophone. I don't know. What?
Well, that would make sense if you had pronounced it xylobone, but it's actually the trombone.
Where? Stop.
I've got one more.
Where'd you find them? Tell me where you found them.
No, hold up.
You wrote these.
What kind of boats do vampires sail in?
What kind of boats?
What kind of boats do vampires sail in?
I don't know. What kind?
Blood vessels.
That's fucking the stupidest one. You put them in that order on purpose.
Oh my God.
Hey, did you hear about the people that make yardsticks?
No.
They're not making them any longer.
That's so
Do you get it?
I get it.
It's a play on words, Roar.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it. Oh my God.
A 70-year-old man told me that at work today. That's the kind of shit I put up with daily for the grind.
The
I got
old
at
men
that.
Jokes.
I'm trying to get that Sigma male grind set
I need
together.
You to shut the fuck up right now. Don't say that in front of me.
Why?
Because I hate
You
that.
think that it'll date the episode?
No, I just hate Sigma.
Why?
Because I hate Sigma.
Is it too complicated now?
I mean, like, I've always hated, like, oh, I'm an alpha male. Oh, I'm a beta male. You're a beta male. I'm an omega male. And then they go and...
What's the omega ones? You said those are wizards, right?
Yeah, like wizards. But I looked up sigma male, and sigma male is supposed to be like lone wolf, I don't play by society's rules. But it's really just some fucking dude in a trench coat about to walk in and shoot up a school.
You mean the socially inept outcasts, people who get picked on in school? Sigma male.
Sigma.
Well, they got that grind set. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Well, us plugging our email addresses actually brought some fruit to the table.
No, it hasn't.
It has.
People emailed us?
One person has
I hope they
emailed
were
us.
either really nice or really, really mean.
So it's our good buddy Uncle Tugboat from the Further Riff podcast. Shout out Further Riff podcast with Sandy Jones and Uncle Tugboat.
They crack me up.
They are hilarious. I actually just did an episode with them on the band Converge. So, shout out. Check them out.
I'm sorry, the band what?
Converge.
Converge.
Okay. So check them out at Further Riff podcast on Spotify.
That's Ferda. Ferda. I had to look it up too. I'm like, Ferda Riff? What is that? But
Ferda Riff.
Ferda and then riff like a guitar.
And send them some emails. If you're above the age of 18, send them some emails at furderriffpodcast@gmail.com.
I sent him some hate mail last night
I
in
know.
bed.
Old Uncle Tugboat sent me the entire thing.
They
and
talk
I was crying.
They talk Metallica, and I had some objections to make. And if you want to hear them, check out the Further Riff podcast.
Check out the Further Riff podcast. So, Old Uncle Tugboat it was actually directed at you, Ranger Chuck. Skeletons Wood Creek. This is a callback to our first ever episode.
Pilot.
Skeletons Wood Creek from Uncle Tugboat.
Okay.
Skeletons Wood Creek because they no longer have the wet cartilage cushioning, and thus the joints at the bones would be rubbing together and making some kind of noise.
Do you have it pulled up right now? You have it pulled up.
I do. So take that, Ranger Charles, you burping, slobbering, fucking Neanderthal.
Oh, I just burped too. I got to take the edge off because people are going to listen to me. 3 or 4 of them.
That's all right.
You know what? We addressed that
We've
in
got
episode.
15 listeners.
We addressed that in episode. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
Real OG listeners remember, because what did I say? I didn't say the bones wouldn't creak. I did not say the bones wouldn't creak. You want to quote me? I'll quote myself. I said, why would the bones creak? Magic. And you said, because there's a force pushing them together, and I said, that's the larger issue. Magic is real, not the presence of a skeleton. So
I do remember you saying that there was no noise, though. You said it wouldn't make any noise.
Well, okay, if it's climbing out of a tomb, it's only because you made the noise of... Yeah, what I meant was he wouldn't be making a vocalization. It would be more subtle. Because if you heard a creaking, whatever bone creak noise is, you wouldn't leap to your feet. You wouldn't be shocked. You might go, what the hell is that? Oh, it sounds like an old windows swinging in the wind. You wouldn't think there's an abomination behind me. And that's where it's surprise, skeleton, shock, magic is real. And I wanted to lay that out for, what's his pseudonym?
Uncle Tugboat.
Uncle
Tugboat.
Why didn't we get cool nicknames? I mean, these are our fake names, right?
Yeah, Ranger Rory is not my real name.
What kind of idiot would name their child Charles in the modern age? Point is, Tugboat, I get where you're coming from. Skeletons Wood Creek, I agree with you. Send better hate mail. Because you can do it.
Perfect. So what are we talking about tonight?
The Hopkinsville, the Wikipedia article that I will always refer to as gospel. If you're starting to notice a pattern, if we start talking research, I jump straight to Wikipedia. But I mean, it's an aggregator of the general gist of shit.
Well, I mean, Wikipedia also cites articles now.
Yeah.
It's not like it was back in 2005.
Right, when they
They cite
wouldn't use it in
articles
school.
now.
So they call it the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter.
And why is that?
Because it actually happened in Kelly, Kentucky, which if you type in on a map doesn't even show a town. It's a strip of highway.
Yeah, Kelly's kind of like a suburb of Hopkinsville.
Yes, and Hopkinsville isn't big enough to have a suburb. So Hopkinsville is a suburb of Fort Campbell. Right. So this is a suburb of a suburb, and then crank the clock back to the 50s. That's how rural this shit is. Very rural. Yeah.
So do you want to get into this? You want to start us off?
I want you to go through
with
the
some
whole.
history?
I want you to go through the whole thing of this is what is said, what happened. First thing.
I'd love to.
Do you want to go section by section? We finish a section of the story and then discuss, or
we
do you
can
want
do
to
it.
go?
We can do it. Whatever comes naturally. Good.
I want you to take us to a good stopping point story wise.
Okay. August 21st, 1955. 5 adults and 2 children arrive at the Hopkinsville PD, claiming that their farmhouse was under siege from a group of small alien creatures. The family claimed that they had been holding off these creatures with gunfire for nearly 4 hours. The players in our story tonight are Glennie Langford, 50-year-old matriarch of the Kelly farmhouse, I guess. Lonnie Langford, child, 12 years old.
Whose child?
I think it's Glennie's.
Yeah, she had a lot of children. That's right.
She had a fuckload. Charlton Langford, again, Glennie's child. And May Langford, also Glennie's child. We also had Elmer Lucky Sutton, J.C. Sutton, Vera Sutton, Aileen Sutton, O.P. Baker, Billy Ray Taylor, and June Taylor. Now, Billy Ray and Lucky are going to be the stars of tonight's episode.
They're perpetrators of a lot of action.
They are the bad boys from the movies Bad Boys. They're Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
They're if Bad Boys happened in the 50s to 2 white as daylight hicks.
So, Lucky Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor claimed that they had been shooting at 12 to 15 figures who repeatedly popped up in windows and doorways all throughout the house. Concerned that a gun battle was going on between citizens, 4 police, 5 state boys, 3 sheriffs, and 4 MPs, that's military police from Fort Campbell, drove to the Sutton homestead near Kelly, Kentucky. Nothing was found but bullet holes.
Now,
And this is just kind of generalization. We're going to go way deeper
I
into it.
like that you started at them showing up to the police station, because that's where, the wider world is now aware.
Right. Hopkinsville.
Yes, the wider world is. That's where the story starts officially. We know for sure. Cops, they involve the officers. And how many officials respond to this? You tally up the total there?
So, are you talking about the police?
Yeah.
As far as, 5 state boys, 3 sheriffs, 4 military police, and 4 town cops.
16.
16 people.
16
And a photographer.
officials of the law and a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where those black and white photos of them like pointing at their house and talking about the shit is from?
I think that is afterwards when they started monetizing it.
Yeah, because they weren't panicked in any of those photos.
No.
But the point is, why did 16... if they said they were in a gun battle for 4 hours, that's probably going to get a lot of heat.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Plus, really close to an army base.
Yeah, Fort Campbell. Those guys just showed up. Do you think any of these people showed up just because they were bored?
What was it? It was a Sunday night in August.
Nice and slow.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to work the next day.
I'd say so.
Except the Sutton family.
Oh no, they're not. They're working on something.
Let me ask you this, okay? Since we're talking about players in this little play, the Sutton family are the stars.
Right.
Officials come in later,
Suttons and the Langfords.
Suttons and the Langfords. Okay, I want to talk about the relationships between the people in this house, because not only is it complex, I find it intriguing. What is the name of the matriarch, the head of this household?
Glennie Langford.
Glennie. Glennie is, do you know how old she was?
50 years old.
All right, Glennie's 50 years old. She's got all of her sons that span a wide range of ages in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And 2 of her sons have their wives. And do any of them have their children there?
No, I don't believe
No, okay. So Glennie, 2 sons, their wives. That's already 5 people. And then I think a couple other sons.
I think it was 5 adults and 8 children. No, I'm sorry, 5 adults and 2 children.
So Lucky and then, okay. So Lucky, the 2 sons that had wives, the younger children of Glennie, and then
Just
two
a
people who are
shitload of
not.
fucking people.
Two people here do not have the last name Sutton.
No, that's the Taylors.
The Taylors. Now, why were the Taylors in this house?
Oh my God, do you not know, or are you just asking me? So, the Taylors are in this house because
They're not neighbors.
Billy Ray Taylor worked with Lucky Sutton as a carnival worker.
Yeah, they were. I'm
In Pennsylvania.
I'm going to quote the Wikipedia article. They were itinerant carny workers. No, they didn't say carny. That's a slur. They were itinerant carnival workers.
Right.
So Lucky worked at a carnival with these two people.
A carny. He was a carny.
He was a carny. And a couple carny friends of his who were a married couple
Right.
came down from Pennsylvania to
Say hi.
hang out. This is a family gathering. Glennie, all of her grown adult children who have wives,
Right.
and her younger children, and one of her older children's friends, he probably said something like, hey, do you mind if a couple of friends from work come down? Since, if you
Do it
have a
right.
family, if
Do
you
it
have
right.
a family gathering,
Do it right. Hey, Ma. You mind if we have a couple people over?
I'm figuring there's a couple of friends of mine likes to come down, see the old place. So, okay, you get an older mother with all of her kids and their wives and one of her sons' friends from work. It happens to be a carnival in Pennsylvania. I just found that fascinating, dude. Because I thought, this is just a family. No, this is a weird dynamic for some shit to go off on, and it leads into some of my theories later that we'll talk about.
Incredibly strange.
Very strange.
Incredibly strange.
Itinerant. What does the word itinerant mean?
I think it means like vagrant or stupid or something. I can't remember.
That's not what itinerant means.
Itinerant. Let's
No
look
way.
it up real quick. You got your phone out? Look it up.
I
Look it
got
up
a
while
phone in my
on.
pocket
We're
while
gonna
you
go
go on. All right, but that's the relationship. That's a dynamic that's in this house. So it's a time of celebration. This isn't like we got to go to work tomorrow. These people are hanging out, socializing, having a good time.
Right. So, just a description of the Sutton farmhouse. It was located in Kelly, Kentucky, which we have stated that Kelly, Kentucky is basically a highway and some farms. It was a humble home, unpainted, with only 3 rooms. The house had no running water, no telephone, no radio, no television, or books.
Or books.
They had no book. I mean, they probably had like a Bible.
I was about to ask, do
But-
they have a Bible?
I'm sure they did.
Because
This is rural Kentucky in the 1950s.
in Glennie forbade certain vices in her home.
Certain vices. We'll get to that later. A place where imagination was the only escape. Drawing chalk drawings on the floor and picking your nose.
Is that what they were doing?
I don't know.
I never looked up, how do you spend your day?
This
With no books? No.
shucking corn and
Is that a euphemism?
picking stones. They're probably tugging hog.
Probably
all day.
out there shucking hog or whatever.
They're probably tugging hog all day. Oh yeah, I wrote it down. Hard, miserable, back-breaking work. That's how the Suttons and the Langfords spent their days.
Not the itinerant carnival workers, which, by the way, itinerant means traveling from place to place,
Vagrant.
i.e. gypsies.
vagrants.
Yeah, American gypsies.
Vagrants.
Hobos.
At 11 p.m. on the night of August 21st, 1955, the families came rushing into the Hopkinsville PD with wild, terror-filled eyes. The police chief, named Russell Green, was quoted as saying, "These aren't the kind to run to the police for help. They reach for their guns."
Well, what do you know? They just happen to do both. We'll find out later.
We will find out. The report goes as such. At 7 p.m., Billy Ray Taylor was fetching water from a well nearby when he saw a silver object with an exhaust all the colors of the rainbow. That's a quote unquote, an exhaust all the colors of the rainbow burn through the evening sky. Taylor, who was 21 at the time, and his wife, June, 18 years old, had come from Pennsylvania to visit Lucky Sutton, a friend who he had worked with a traveling carnival. So they weren't just carnies. They were traveling carnies.
The best or worst kind, depending on your outlook on carnies. And I tell you, mine's not altogether positive.
I don't like them. Glennie Langford called horseshit and laughed in Taylor's stupid fucking face.
Is that a quote?
No,
Glennie didn't say
this
horse
is a quote
shit.
from me.
Don't put them dirty words in that nice old woman's
Glennie
mouth.
Langford called horseshit and laughed in Taylor's stupid fucking face. Whoever heard of a flying car? Quote unquote. Whoever heard of a flying car?
No, you
She
want me to do it for
probably
you?
said.
You want me to do the Meemaw voice for you?
Go ahead.
Well, who ever heard of a flying car?
She probably said. That's my quote.
She probably laughed a cigarette laugh. Who said it? Billy Ray?
Yeah, Billy Ray.
Quit being silly, Billy Ray. Come in here. Come on to Glennie. Sit on Glennie's lap now.
This is a grown-ass man.
How old was he?
He was 21.
That's a little boy.
Oh.
nothing.
1 hour later, the dog wouldn't shut the fuck up. So Lucky and Billy Ray went out to go teach it a lesson.
Don't portray them as animal abusers.
I was half drunk and really tired when I wrote
You were-
this. Bear with me.
They went out to teach it. No, they didn't.
The dog wouldn't shut the fuck up. So Lucky and Billy Ray went out to teach it a lesson. But they saw an odd, glowing orange light in the midst of which was a teeny tiny humanoid figure. Now, being carnies, they were more than likely familiar with tiny humanoids. But this one was fucked up.
Why does this feel racist? It feels like we're being racist to carnival workers. They're not a race.
No, they're not.
I equate them to gypsies in my head.
Well, I mean, gypsies is kind of racist.
Oh, shit, the word gypsies
Yeah.
is racist, isn't it?
Yeah. Vagrants.
No, gypsies have,
Romani.
Romani.
But we're not talking about Romani people.
Well, I'm just saying that's what it makes me feel like.
Gypsy is a slur. We're not talking about the Romani people.
No, we're talking about those filthy, worthless fucking carnival workers.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't say gypsy.
Yeah.
But filthy, fucking, stupid, idiot carnival
No,
workers.
that's proof. I just worked through the process. I'm not going to get yelled at
I'm
for
proud
saying
of
the G
you.
word.
I'm
right?
proud. No.
Okay.
No.
Do we have to bleep the G word?
I'll leave
Rory,
it in.
how many people listen to this?
I'll leave it at 15 so far.
Do you think any of them are Romani?
I don't know.
You fucking stop listening to this on that stolen phone you got, you gypsy.
Okay, that's enough. I'm going to have to bleep that.
Oh, don't you? Fine. Fine. It was right on the fence, folks. It wasn't that bad, I promise.
The creature had an almost perfectly round head, arms dragging the ground, taloned hands, and oversized eyes that glowed with a yellowish light. Its body glowed with a shimmer, almost as if it were made of metal.
Made of metal. Do they say what color it is?
Silver.
Silver, see?
Silver metal.
That's a big thing that gets misconstrued, because in the artwork for it, you always see it as just white. And in the, whatchamacallit, the later news reports would say, little green men. That's where the popularized term little green men
Yep.
comes from, because they were little men. Green had already been associated with aliens in science fiction since the 20s.
Because they had from the 1930s to the till today. Sensationalism is all the rage because they have nothing to fucking write about.
Fake news.
I cut it out.
They were. It's literally fake news.
They
were silver.
I listened to a documentary on Bonnie and Clyde recently, and basically what had gone down was newspapers in that time frame in the early 1930s no longer had ad revenue, but sorry,
Nice burp.
no longer had ad revenue. So in order to bring up their costs, because a lot of newspapers were failing, in order to bring up cost and drive paper sales, they would just make up shit. Make shit
I like
up.
how
And that's
newspapers
lasted from the 1930s all the way till today.
I like how newspapers have been failing for almost 100 years.
Yeah, it's almost time.
They are quaint, though. I do love
I have never read a newspaper
I haven't even.
unless it was
The funnies.
the funnies.
You pull the
I
funnies
read
out.
Heathcliff and Garfield because I like
I read
cats.
Hagar the Horrible and Dennis the Menace.
There you go.
That's our personalities in a nutshell.
There you go. I'm fat, stupid, and lazy.
And I'm drunk and a child at heart.
It's perfect. It's perfect. So, anyway, going on with the story, after seeing this creature, Lucky and Billy Ray were 100% shook. So they grabbed a 20-gauge shotgun and a 22.
A 22 what?
A 22 long rifle.
A 22 long rifle round that they put into a gun, which was a...
I just saw a 22 rifle.
Ah, see, I had to dig to find this. It was a 22, a little plinker. It was a target pistol.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little
didn't know
plinker
that.
pistol. It was a 22 pistol. Because in my head, every time I read it, it was a 22 long rifle.
Right.
You think, oh, it's a 22 long rifle. No, it's a 22 LR is the round used in his gun. That was a pistol. So he had a pistol, and the other gentleman had the 20-gauge shotgun. Yeah, interesting.
I didn't know that.
Because a rifle, you kind of got to take your time, right? But
Right.
this is a sidearm. He was probably just cracking off rounds. Do you know how many rounds he happened to fire in those 4 hours?
I didn't read that part.
I don't know how many rounds specifically because I don't know what size boxes he had his ammunition in, but he showed the officers when they showed up. They said, how many times did you shoot? And I can't remember what he told me. He's like, well, hell, I used 4 boxes of ammo. 4 boxes
Sweet lean
of 22. So he must have just been throwing rounds. And, hard thumb. He probably has a real hard thumb from
Carney work.
being...
Putting cigarettes out on his thumb so he could talk to people who were walking
from
by.
putting people's eyes out with it or something. And but dude,
Dirty
4 boxes of
fucking
ammo
Carnies.
and a pistol. That paints a better picture, I think.
So they pointed those weapons at the little man, who had its hands raised almost as if it were in surrender. That's something that stuck with me.
That's the sad part.
They held their arms up and they hit it. They shot it and hit it, and it did a flip and then ran away into the dark.
It did a kickflip. This thing Bam Margera over a fence and ran away.
It did. So
The
it
Bam
did a
Margera
flip.
and it made a little noise. You remember the noise
maybe
it made?
it was Bam Margera. Oh, all our good CKY buddies. Definitely
They were in the metal militia. That's why they were silver, bro.
get the fuck out of here.
So they No, do you remember what happened? Dude, I'm glad we read different articles. Do you know what they admitted to doing before they shot at it?
No.
It was walking out of the glowing mist and shit hovering above the ground. Do you remember what they did? He said that they yelled, quote, expletives at it. They cussed out a goblin in the mist.
Oh my God! They started yelling
like,
at this thing.
Dude, this thing started hovering above the ground with its arms up. Oh, and an ethereal being from beyond, coated in silver, 3 feet tall.
Hands raised.
Hands raised, and they went, "Who the hell are you?
What the fuck are you doing on this
Fuck off
property?
my property. You." They yelled at it first. I just want to say that. I don't think that the alien or whatever it was might have deserved to get shot at,
I don't think so either.
but it was warned. That's what I'm going to say.
That's fair enough.
Rebel born, rebel bred. They were not putting up with no alien visitations tonight. You want to make contact, you go to Virginia for that shit.
Oh my God! So Lucky and Billy Ray then ran back into the house and warned everybody. We saw some fucking thing outside. It was shaped like a goblin. Started
Lord
running
have
right
mercy,
to
it looked
us.
like a demon.
Glenny, go get the children. Shit like that. And then a few moments after that, a similar being popped its head into a window. I popped up into a window. Like, look, hey, what's going on? And again, Billy Ray and Lucky, with wanton disregard for human/alien/goblin contact, started fucking blasting. They started shooting and fucking blasting.
Gettysburg 2 Electric Boogaloo kicked off in Hopkinsville that night.
This one also did a flip and ran away as well.
I love the detail of
It's
the
a group
first
of,
two.
It's a group of skaters, bro. That's all it is.
I love them doing the backflip.
It's a group of skaters.
Do you think they sailed through the air? No, because they drift. They said they
I don't
floated
see-
down.
So if you've ever played Fallout, like when you like throw a grenade at somebody and it blows up and their bodies do that ragdoll.
They ragdoll through the air.
But these things are landing on their feet and running away.
Okay, so they're jumping back to get away. They're immune to gunfire. Apparently,
Immune.
They're immune to gunfire.
not doing any damage to them whatsoever.
Why do they backflip away? Why do they retreat?
I'll tell you my theory at the end of this story.
Okay, well, let's continue
End of
the
story.
account. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt someone.
No, you're fine.
Right.
That was a good one. Glennie Langford is quoted as saying, "I went out to the hallway and crouched next to Billy, and I saw one approach the door.
Saint.
I seen one approach the door. It looked like a 5-gallon gasoline can with a head on top and small legs, and it was shimmering bright metal like my refrigerator." That's a direct quote. That's a
I believe
direct
that.
quote.
That's that. If I heard nothing else but that, I would believe it. Okay, yeah, she saw it.
Billy Ray eventually stepped outside under a small overhanging roof on the porch. Those behind him saw a claw-like hand reach down and tussle Billy Ray's hair like a proud father after a football game.
It grabbed his hair.
I heard it kind of like mussed his hair up a little bit.
I heard that it grabbed his hair, and Glennie grabbed him and retched him back into the house.
Yeah. So they flipped their fucking shit. They screamed. Everybody's fucking hooping and hollering. More expletives, I do believe there were probably.
And Glennie was very upset at these expletives, I imagine.
I imagine. Well, I think she might have made an exception at these expletives.
On account of the goblins?
On account of the fucking demons.
Which one of the people, I can't remember which, it might have been Lucky, because they asked him each, what do you think it was? None of them said aliens, I don't think. But one of them said, I think it was demons from the pits of hell.
Well, if you know that. I don't.
I think it was Lucky. I don't know. Every article
I
read gave a different
I went
detail.
more into the actual account than what happened.
You give us more
afterwards.
details. I'll give fun facts of what might
That sounds good.
have happened. I heard a lot of rumors.
Billy Ray went back inside, and Lucky did what he does best. He started blasting holes in the roof with a fucking shotgun.
You know, I love this reaction. I love this reaction. Because you always hear stories about people having encounters with aliens or other beings. Whoa, we ran away and we locked the door and we did this and we did that. How often does it start? So he went inside, loaded up the arsenal, and started blasting.
Will Smith in an Independence Day.
And he was a goddamn hero.
Goddamn hero.
Did any of these people get abducted?
I don't think so.
None of these people were abducted? None of them were killed? Nobody got hurt? Why do you think that is, Rory?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it at the end.
Because George Washington Machine made sure that they had guns.
I don't think that's the reason.
I don't either, but it's cool. It's fun to talk about.
All be praised to the great gun machine.
You're goddamn right. They defended themselves as every red-blooded American would.
Yeah. So Lucky started shooting holes through the ceiling, and he saw another creature in a nearby tree, so he started blasting at that one too, and whatever the fuck it was in the tree. It floated down. It didn't do a flip. This one floated down and then ran away.
I love the fucking pageantry of these things are immune to bullets. They
It
don't
did
even
a
have
flip.
to retreat.
It floated down. It did a kickflip and did a 180 gainer right off the top of the roof. Said, suck it, and then skated off into the woods.
It crotch chopped at me and got the hell out of here.
Like Triple H.
Like Triple H done did on Monday Night Raw. Raw is war, they say.
Oh, my God.
I love that. No, but they backflip.
They do.
They don't have to.
They're acrobatic.
You know they don't have to backflip. That's going to get into my theories later, bro. Because they can just float backwards. They can move in space. They're immune to bullets. They don't have to retreat at all. But when they do retreat, it's because they want to, and they fucking backflip.
And they do it with style.
They styled on them. That's what I was going to say.
Yep,
They're
style.
styling on the Sutton household.
You're goddamn right. They're going to show these fucking bumpkins what's up.
Maybe.
The family spent several hours listening for a moment and hearing a long moment. They started listening for movement. The next several hours listening for movement and hearing scratches on the roof. Eventually they said, fuck this, booked it to their cars, and sped to the HPD, Hopkinsville Police Department. And after telling their story, the hopefully incredulous police chief, he called for backup and was met with state boys, MPs, and a photographer from the Kentucky New Era.
What does incredulous mean?
Non-believing.
Okay. I respect that. Mad respectfully, I like that.
Respectfully, I think you're full of shit. But it's Saturday or Sunday. There's no crimes that people.
It's
are
Wednesday.
committing. No, in the story.
Oh, I thought you were getting mad at me.
No, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, okay. In the story, it's Sunday,
In the
August
story, it's
21st,
Sunday.
which is close to today's date, by the way. Ooh,
Oh.
we're almost on the anniversary. How many? What's the anniversary coming up here in exactly 10 days from this recording?
70, 50, 71 years.
71 years.
71 fucking years.
Really?
71, 1950. I'm sorry, 1955. 55.
76 years.
You take away. We're subtracting. That'd be 1945. We're bad at math. We're from Ohio. We're fucking idiots.
Tell me how many fucking years ago that was, Rory. You're making me mad. I got to do math.
40, or I'm sorry, no, I'm an idiot. 66.
Someone out there's really fucking mad at
60 years. 66 years.
6 years.
They were demons from what
telling-
came from hell.
We'll talk about it later. 66 years. Oh, but 66 years in, are we going to release this on?
No, we're going to release this
Before.
on Saturday.
Okay. Well, I just, it'd be, I don't want to wait that long anyways, but if you're listening,
Check it out. If you're around the Hopkinsville area, go to the festival that they have.
They have a
They
wonderful
have a fucking
festival.
festival.
we should have gone. That would have been cool.
I don't want to go there.
Why?
It's not my scene. It's totally my scene, but
It's totally your scene.
I don't want to drive fucking 5 hours.
Driving for 5 hours is not your scene.
Shoot my own fucking
Just saying,
teeth out
Rory.
like they
we
were shooting
we
goblins.
drove that long to see the Mothman
No,
Museum.
we drove 6 hours round trip to see the Mothman Museum.
Is it 5 hours there and 5 hours back?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
It's Fort Campbell.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky ain't
On
that
the
big.
on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky.
I guess it's Western Kentucky. The U.S. is such a fucking big place.
It's so big.
So big, so powerful, so strong.
So when it's a crumbling dystopia.
All right, the highway's a little rough. What do you want from me?
When the officials got there and they searched the house, the officials found bullet holes and shell casings, but nothing otherwise. No blood, no scraps of clothing, and most shockingly, no alcohol.
Not a drop of
That
liquor.
shocks me more than anything. Not a
That
drop
is
of liquor.
Corroborated by every officer on the scene.
Every single one of them. And they quoted Glennie Sutton stating that liquor was not allowed in the farmhouse. But do you really expect me to believe that these 1950 Carnies were stone cold sober? I don't think so.
I do.
I don't. Not Carnies.
I believe it. Glennie would have smelt that. Glennie would have sussed out some
Glennie
liquor
was a
stink.
50-year-old Kentucky.
50 is not
50
the end of life.
2021 50 is different from 1955
Not that
50.
different. Not
It's
that
hugely
different. Dude.
different. My mom's 51.
No, man. She would have. Your mom can smell liquor.
That's what I'm saying. My
grandmother can smell liquor, and she is in her 70s. And there's no way there's a 20-year difference. I don't care how hard her life was, dude. She could smell ethanol on these Carnies. And she would have kicked him out of her house because Glennie is the patriarch.
matriarch.
Matriarch,
You
sorry.
can get the fuck out of this house right
Get these Carnies the hell, get these gypsies the hell out of here.
So here's my favorite part of the story. After the police left, the creatures came back. They came back at 2:30 a.m. Glennie stated that one watched her glowing from her bedside window, one hand on the screen, and the other hand presumably
On its dick.
Presumably, I wrote this down. Presumably gripping its alien penis, cranking down over Glennie's sleeping form. Following all of this,
You can edit that one out.
I'm not editing that out.
Were you high and or drunk when you wrote that? You were both. He looked me right in the eyes. He's both. That means both.
Following all this, radio stations, newspapers, and TV stations started searching for sensational stories. Had a fucking field day.
Oh no, this is before it hit the big newsstands. What did Glennie do when she saw this thing?
You tell me.
They got the hell out of there. They left.
Again?
They abandoned their house. They left. The neighbors the next day, the cops went to check on them, and they were like, nobody's here. And they found him at a house in Madison or Madisonville, I can't remember. And asked him, why'd you leave? And they're like, I came back at 3 o'clock in the morning. We just got the fuck out of there.
Started fucking pulling its pud right over me.
Which adds some credibility to me that they were like, I'm not dealing with that. They got out of there. It's smart. That's some smart shit.
So after that, when the newspapers and radio stations started coming in, hundreds of people started coming down to the farm. Hundreds started coming down to the farm. They called the Suttons ignorant hicks. They called them frauds. They called them charlatans. We don't believe you for a second.
The Suttons were not a fan of people invading
at first
their privacy.
At first.
Hey, it's going to happen. They're going to show up.
So what they do? Tried to dissuade visitors with no trespassing signs, but cash is king, and they eventually started charging for things like entering the farm's grounds, taking photos, and even asking for information.
50 cents to get in, $1 to ask any questions to the family, and $10 to take pictures.
$10 in 1955.
To take pictures of your personal home.
In 1955.
Yeah, to violate your most sanctious privacy. Money. I'm just saying that these were dirt poor people. Did any of them end up rich over this?
No.
Did they go on TV?
No.
As a matter of fact, they stopped talking about it. It almost ruined their lives.
Infamous.
They became infamous.
So police came again to search the grounds after all these fucking people coming in and checking everything out, and they found nothing again. So I was reading even further, and I think this was back in the 90s, a doctor named J. Ellen Hynek. She was an astronomer and a founder of the Center for UFO Studies. She wrote a 200-page report saying she absolutely 100% believed that the Suttons and the Taylors and the Langfords were being truthful.
The police, the Suttons themselves, and even me believe the Suttons were being truthful with what they said that they saw. But they didn't say a space alien came. They didn't say a demon come up out the ground. They said some beings that looked like this description here were fucking around our house, and we shot at them.
Yeah, so let me clear that up. So Dr. Hynek didn't say that she believed that they were aliens. She said that she believed that the Suttons were being truthful.
Yeah,
they were being.
We believe that they believe what they said they saw.
And you may ask, well, what about all the chicanery and bullshit and drunken shenanigans? What about it?
The fucking media, man.
According to Dr. Hynek, Glennie Langford was a no-nonsense, somber, fame-hating woman with no reason to lie. I say to that, personally, that her kids were fucking Carnies.
One child was friends with Carnies.
Well,
he was also a Carney himself.
Lucky was a Carney. Her kids were fucking Carnies.
One child was a Carney.
I think they were drunk.
One child was a Carney.
I think that old Billy Ray had a jug of fucking shine.
Have you ever been so drunk that you saw creatures from another world and then blew holes in your own home, and you're so dirt poor you don't have a phone or a fucking book in the house?
I've never been that drunk, no.
What if you were in crushing poverty and you got that drunk and you decided to blow holes in the only worldly possession for 100 miles? You think someone would be upset? And do you think Glennie was drunk? The old matriarch? Do you think she was drunk? Because she saw it.
I don't know.
No, don't say I don't know.
We'll talk about I mean I don't know as truthfully. I do not know. I have an idea, but I'd like for you to go a little further and tell me about some of your research, because that's the end of my research. That's the event. That's everything that happened.
What we know for sure, they came to the cops.
What we know for sure, what
cops said
the police said had happened.
Now, why would do you think the police would have known if they had been drinking? If I was a cop, I showed up on the scene and said, who are they? They said, those are 2 itinerant Carney workers staying at my house tonight. They're the first people I'm coming up to. Hey, what's going on? Get something on your breath?
Were amphetamines amphetamines were a thing back
in
then.
the 50s?
Yeah.
They were shooting up cocaine. But, man, I don't know.
Heroin was cough syrup.
Glennie wasn't.
They say that she was stone cold sober.
Yeah, and the heart rate of one of the... I can't remember whose heart rate
140.
they took.
That's crazy.
That's panic.
That's running on a treadmill.
And that's when he got to the police station. In a car, they didn't run there. And they weren't the type to run to the police. They profited nothing from it. It almost ruined their lives. And they went to the police. 4 hours, dude? What's going to affect you for 4 hours in that state of paranoia? Into 3 o'clock in the morning where you would abandon your house.
Well, I have my theories.
Goblins.
So tell us about some of your research.
Sutton. The Sutton name, it's an interesting name, isn't it? You don't see Suttons very much, but it's an old-timey sounding name, isn't it? Sutton. It's English. It's an English name, Rory.
Okay.
There's a tradition of certain folklore that happens in English and Scottish mythology that I'm hesitant to call it mythology after the encounter at Kelly-Hopkinsville, of course.
That was brought to Appalachia.
Appalachia. Yeah, dude. And you know what they were called? They weren't called little green men. They weren't called silver people. They were goblins. You know, they call them the Hopkinsville Goblin just because they appeared goblin-like, and everyone who takes it halfway serious is like, oh, they were clearly aliens. I don't buy that for a fucking second. These were goblins. Can I get specific? They were hobgoblins. They were hobgoblins. You know where they lived? On the Sutton household, obviously, on their property. Who was the first one to see them?
Lucky.
Billy and Lucky.
Billy
Okay.
and Lucky.
What was the first thing that happened?
Carnies.
What was the first thing that happened? They didn't see a goblin in first thing. What was the first strange thing to happen that night?
A shooting thing flying through the sky.
Who was at the well?
Billy Ray.
Billy Ray was at a well.
Where he was stashing his moonshine.
Where he was getting a nice cool drink because there's no air conditioning in the house and it was in the middle of fucking August in Kentucky. Okay. In folklore, one of the mentioned common methods to banish or exorcise a goblin from your household is to trap it in a well.
I just gasped and leaned back a little bit and my eyes got wide.
So, a man who is not a Sutton, who is not of the Sutton bloodline, accesses the well of the Sutton household. He sees a burst of light in the sky, the colors of the rainbow. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. I could find nothing about goblins making rainbow shit fly through the sky. Maybe it was an illusion. Maybe it was actually by chance a meteor shower like a lot of people say it was. Maybe it was a UFO in an unrelated incident. I don't know. But a man who is not a Sutton violated the sanctity of the Sutton household by accessing the Sutton well where goblins are often trapped, and then suddenly we got ourselves a goblin infestation. Huh, yeah. Interesting, isn't it?
So how did they get the goblins to go away?
Usually you would have a priest bless the well.
I didn't read anything about a priest coming to bless the well, though.
No, they didn't. Well, you see, every other time a goblin is trapped in a well, there aren't any firearms around. Fucking complicates things.
That scare the goblin. You know what? But also, if you really read into mythology and things like the Fae, which I understand that hobgoblins are Fae, they're Fae creatures. Fae creatures are extremely hesitant around things like iron.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, they are.
And
Iron and steel,
and
therefore?
man-made metals.
What kind of metal is a bullet made out of?
Lead.
Oh, interesting that it had no effect. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Now it's got your juices turning a
No,
little
you
bit.
do got me
doesn't it?
thinking now. Yeah,
I got
100%.
you thinking. I'm not kidding. It's a specific.
You may have just changed my mind on this whole fucking. You turned my whole world
Dude,
inside out.
You know when I came up with this theory? 2 hours ago at work. I was in the bathroom. I was taking. Oh, dude, I had to shit so bad.
Big muddy monster.
I think I have Crohn's disease.
Oh my god.
I ate spicy chicken 2 or 3 days ago. I digress. But yeah, so a goblin. A hobgoblin, a regular goblin is just a small creature that covets shiny things like gold.
Right.
A hobgoblin is the same thing, except that it can become attached to households and things like that, and can almost be bargained with, but they're more mischievous. Kind of like a brownie. Sorry. So brownies interact with a household, but a hobgoblin is a fey creature that will kind of be more mischievous. And what do these things do?
You know what, man?
They tussle your hair. They're popping into the wind. What do they do when they escape? What do they do when they retreat, Rory?
They flip.
They backflip.
It has been described that they are tricksters, that they were tricksters.
They are hobgoblins. I'm talking they're actual fairy people. They're hobgoblins. Where's Mr. Sutton? Where's the patriarch of this family?
No, he's dead. He was dead.
He's dead. What did he die of?
Look at
How
that.
recently did he die?
I didn't look that up either.
Glennie's only in her 50s. Shit, should we pause and look that up?
We don't need to pause. You can just look it up. I'll talk.
Talk about your
I'll
theory.
talk about theories. Yeah.
I laid mine out a little bit. I'm voting goblins. We'll talk more.
So the top theory of those with 2 firing synapses in their fucking brain is simple. The great horned owl. So the great horned owl has long wings that
Boo.
could be mistaken for arms, talons, yellow eyes, and long quote-unquote ears. It fits the description perfectly, but I think Ranger Chuck has changed my mind. I think it might have been fucking goblins.
You want us to talk about why it's not? I can't find. No one knows where the hell he is. But anyway, so I'm thinking that one of my potential theories is that the patriarch of the Sutton family, Glennie's husband, may have made an arrangement or placed a barrier
With the goblins.
or a spell or something with his goblins, and his death weakened that barrier, or the arrangement he made with them was violated by some dirty carny accessing his family's well where they lived, maybe? Maybe, there's something out there that her husband wanted her to take care, because it says the only thing that keeps him in a well is a prayer, right? So maybe Glennie was slipping up. She's letting gypsies in the house. Why wouldn't she just stop praying over the well that Papa Sutton told her about? Maybe he didn't explain it. He probably wouldn't. He probably wouldn't tell his family there's goblins out in the woods. Make sure, but if there is out in the woods, great horned owls. Do you think that these people would have not known what a great horned owl looked like?
Before you brought up the goblins, I'm saying it, dude, 100%. You've changed my mind. I think it was actual literal goblins.
I'm not fucking around either. I believe. I know this is going to sound stupid. But I believe that there were literal fairy folk goblins before I believe that these people didn't know what a fucking owl looked like.
I agree with you.
Yeah, dude.
100%.
This feels so good. It's very cathartic.
All right, it's done. Podcast is over. We're done.
Wrap it up. Anyways, this has been the Occult Outpost.
No, man. So, of course, any rational mind is going to think, any rational, boring mind.
Any little stupid, boring, dumb
Nerd
mind.
scientist.
And some lame... You know what PhD stands for? Pussy have not disorder. Yeah, scientists are stupid and they're lame. And they don't believe in goblins, which is clearly the superior theory.
I believe in goblins now.
I like how at the end of every article I read about it, they always talk about it being great horned owls, like mystery wrapped up. It was owls. Whoever said so, I don't remember their name. I'm sure they're very prolific in the owl community. But they're like, yeah, I believe it was owls. And they weren't even alive there at the time. They were reading about it. They read the description that the Sutton household gave of what these things looked like and went, oh, that's probably an owl. Wow, mystery solved. Thanks for all the hard work. Did they print like a 200-page article on that, you think? A study to see if it was a fucking owl that these people saw? It wasn't an owl, dude.
It was goblins.
These people would know. They would know that it was an owl if they saw it, and Glennie would have known it was an owl. She was 50 years old.
Yeah. 1950s, man. Glennie probably never really left that area.
Now, let's say it's owls. Let's explore that one. It's owls. Why would owls... Okay, so they randomly disturbed on accident an owl's nest. Because that's the only time that great horned owls really full-on attack people is if they're defending a nest.
Why would it have never happened before?
Yeah, how Glennie lived here.
Maybe so
clearly.
many people. Maybe
There's too many people making too much noise.
4
and they
people's
got,
too many. 4 extra people's too many.
think so.
Maybe.
Okay, I would buy that.
The only thing that really got me is like the description of when Lucky and Billy Ray were shooting whatever it was, goblins. They were shooting the goblins. Is they said that they did flips. Now, if you've ever seen an owl of any kind disturbed, they kind of flutter. Maybe not a flip, but it could be
Construed
as a flip.
What time of day was it when they saw the first one?
8 p.m.
It's just before, like 7:30, 8 p.m.
Yep.
Is it dark outside at 8 p.m. in the middle of August?
No.
What time is sunset tonight? I'll look that up.
About 8:39.
Because we're not in Kentucky, but we're close enough. 8:38.
Yeah, 8:39.
8:30. So at 8 o'clock, there would have been enough light to determine whether a creature approaching was either a great horned owl or an unknowable horror. I would like to think, unless they were drunk carnies, I guess. I have to acknowledge that one. Maybe, maybe there are people out there that are good at hiding being drunk that could let us in on the secret of how they
There are a
would have
few
hit
people
this.
like that. Luckily enough, we're not drunk tonight. I've had half of a beer.
I'm barely buzzing. I'm okay. I don't know. I'm getting there.
It's making for a better show, I think. We're not.
It's slightly
we're
more
not
coherent.
stumbling around but yeah, you have convinced me that this was a paranormal
The Suttons
phenomenon.
were English. They were old fashioned. They didn't have books in the house.
In Appalachia.
Didn't have books or
These
a
were
telephone.
fey folk.
Didn't have a radio. Those are the type of people who make deals with fey folk. Hobgoblins.
The family runs away. Glennie is a very religious, no-nonsense woman. The family runs away. Lucky runs away to Pennsylvania to become a farmer. Or, I'm sorry, not a farmer, a carny. Yeah, 100%.
All right, mystery solved. But yeah, the owls, I get it. I get it because the description is so close. But
your description, man.
But dude, I'm telling you, and silvery.
Those of you who are skeptics definitely, probably more than likely believe that these are owls.
But why would an owl how would an owl know to approach the window of a household? Think they could see into it? It's getting to be about 8:30 by the time they start poking heads in windows. It's getting dark. Okay, maybe they saw some light inside.
I'm thinking maybe
No owl blood.
If it were owls, maybe the owls weren't getting as close as they thought. Maybe they saw it through a window and then embellished the story. Because let's go along with that. Sure. These people are old-timey Southern folks. Country Southern folks. And let's be honest.
What are you trying to say, Roy?
You're from a Southern family. I'm from a Southern family.
If my cousin told me that he saw a silver goblin out of his window and shot at it for 4 hours, I wouldn't even blink. Oh, okay. And then what happened?
I've got family who tells tall tales. Being from West Virginia, my family being from West Virginia.
But would they go to the cops? My cousin's not going to the cops.
No, they would never
That's
go
what
to the
throws
cops.
me, dude. The inclusion of officers, especially if maybe they were shooting up cocaine because it's 1955. That's when Johnny Cash was shooting up coke. Maybe these dudes were injecting cocaine into their bodies. And they're like, you know what we got to do? Get the cops involved. And after 4 hours, and let me tell you something, I don't care how fucked up I am, 4 boxes of 22s, and I don't draw a single drop of owl blood. I'm just saying.
Intangible.
Maybe they were ghost owls.
I don't believe they were fucking ghosts. These weren't ghosts.
All right.
They were either fey creatures,
I took it too far.
Fey goblins, or owls. Which
do neither of us even entertain the idea that they were aliens? I think that's stupid.
I don't like the whole alien idea. I like
aliens
aliens for like shit like people getting abducted but I don't believe that an alien would encroach upon somebody's farm, or let alone a group of 15. I think aliens are so technologically above us that they don't need to come into us. They'll just abduct us if they want us. They don't need to come down to us. We go up to them.
But in stories of alien abductions, they usually begin with the bed being surrounded by a light and then they're paralyzed, and then the beings approach, right? What if this conversation happens on the bridge of the starship Hobgoblin? Oh, shit. Fuck. Frank.
Yeah.
Listen, man, the paralyzed ray is on the fritz. They can't fucking fix it. We haven't really met quota this month. Do you think we should try to do this one the old-fashioned way?
Why do we even want to go down there?
Listen, we need some... they said we need DNA from people that haven't been exposed to the recently developed nuclear weapons program, and these people haven't been anywhere in 100 years. So we need to go down and get some blood samples. But the point is the paralyzation ray is on the fritz. Do you think we could just move in?
I'll go get the hologram projector.
Yeah, try to make them go into the backyard. Make it look like we crashed in the backyard. And I'll drift in, Jesus style.
Let me scan you real quick so I can get your bodily form. Hey, do a couple flips for me.
Oh, dude, do you think I could do a flip?
I think you could do a kick flip.
I'll do 2 flips. I'll do 2 flips if you do a Grignog off the rail.
I'll do a flopnar.
That happened. That conversation.
Maybe it was aliens. I don't know. Fuck.
If it was aliens, they were fucking stupid. They were stupid aliens.
they were stoner aliens.
The aliens went down to Kentucky because they were looking to make a deal. They were in a bind. They were way behind, and they were looking for some fucking hicks to steal.
Some bums to probe.
Maybe they were tracking the Carney workers, and they happened to end up in Hopkinsville. And they were like, "Fuck! All right, well they're isolated out here in Kelly. Let's move in." But in either case, the paralyzation ray is on the fritz, and they struck at 7:30, like they had to go to fucking bed early that night. Aliens don't attack at 7:30 p.m. You know when they do? 3:30 or
the witching hour.
2:30. Sorry, when Glennie says she saw one in her window. Maybe they got their shit back together. But even then, she saw it in her window. She didn't. I was frozen in fear, and then it came in and put its claws in my pussy. She saw it, and they left, and it let them leave. Maybe their ship was broke.
Yeah, maybe because they were tracking Billy Ray and Lucky, they didn't get their abduction on time, and that's why we gotta hurry the fuck up.
Oh, we gotta get. Oh shit, we were supposed to get Billy Ray this morning. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Okay, aliens, I could see it, but they would have to be inept aliens.
Really dumb aliens.
Really dumb aliens. Really dumb aliens or average hobgoblins. And I know what my money's on.
Hobgoblins. That's what I'm putting.
People call them goblins to be cute because they look like goblins, and they call them like, it's the Kelly encounter.
These are just goblins.
They're goblin-like. No. They're goblins.
They are actual goblins.
Goblins are supposed to be green. Why do you think these goblins were white, silvery? You know what causes an animal to develop albinism naturally? Lack of sunlight. Where's sunlight not getting to, Rory?
A well.
The bottom of a fucking well. I just wanted to state that only one officer of the law ever accused the Suttons of being drunk, and he wasn't even there when it happened. What else? Oh, the neighbors said that they were trustworthy people, would not lie about some
Also read that.
except for one set of neighbors who said that they were philanderers and liars. Charlatans even. Why would one family say that?
Good old-fashioned Kentucky feud, baby.
A feuding, you think?
Good
Just
old-fashioned
feuding?
Kentucky feud.
Okay. I don't believe that one officer was like, well, they were obviously drinking. He wasn't even there. Or no, I'm sorry. I believe he was there and then kept it to himself for an undisclosed period of time before saying, oh, no, actually, sorry, they were drunk. Bullshit, dude.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck that one cop, that one fucking pig that thought they were drinking, dude. I'm saying the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter is one of my favorite stories. It's in my home state. I'm so proud of it.
And you know what, man? I never did much research on it before. And now that I have, it is also one of my favorite. And I cannot wait to see what we could undig in future episodes about this shit.
I thought, oh, by the way, one of the daughters of one of the Suttons who was at this encounter, forgive me, I forget her name. I don't even know who she's the daughter of. But she wrote 2 books that I don't have on my fucking phone up anymore because I was shitting at work and I cleared all my tabs so I could watch something on YouTube. And she wrote a book because the Sutton family stopped talking about it. They wouldn't do interviews. They're not getting on the news anymore because it people were just calling them fucking liars and drunks. So they were insulted. They didn't talk about it anymore. But the daughter of one of the members of the family would speak on their behalf and try to clear things up. And she wrote 2 books. The first one I've heard is pretty good. I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember her name, but it would take, I don't know, 6 or 8 minutes of Googling and you could find it. I couldn't find an audiobook of it for sure. And I don't think I could even find like a paperback of this bad boy. But if anyone can find a copy for sale of one of her books, we would love to get the link to that.
Email us at occultoutpost@gmail.com.
We'll do a part 2 to this, a follow-up, whatever
Yeah,
you
follow
want.
up in the future for sure.
Yeah, if you send the link in the email,
Maybe like a short side sort of thing.
we'll read a shout-out or some shit for you.
Oh, well,
I don't
definitely. If you email us, we're reading you a shout out. Except if you be really mean.
know. But point is, it's one of my favorite, and it only makes me more... I keep going on these tangents the more I think about it, how there's so many cave systems in Kentucky. The largest continuous cave system on the planet is in Kentucky, and I don't think a lot of people outside of the state know that. Not just the Mammoth Cave.
Is that the 7 Caves cave system?
I'm not sure what the entirety of the cave system at large is referred to as,
Gotcha.
but in Kentucky, the state is the largest continuous cave system on the planet. You would think something like that would be in Malaysia or somewhere exotic. No, it's right here. It's in Kentucky, dude. I took a tour for free at a state park like 2 months ago of the largest cave system on the planet. And there are caves. There are goblins. Where do goblins typically live when they're not trapped in a well? Cave systems. Now, that being said, I did read a very popular story that usually goes along with this that I don't have a good name for, I'm sorry, but it's the encounters of a man who lives in another county in Kentucky where he describes very similar interactions with beings that he describes as goblin-like. Not goblin-like, sorry. He describes them as being a more typical gray alien being. And they fuck with him for months. It's not like a one-and-done Hopkinsville encounter where they shoot at him for a night, see him one more time, and get the fuck out of there. This guy says that he has continuous mischievous shit happen with him. Which, I don't know how to think about stuff like that where someone keeps seeing them, and it just felt like a 4chan green text thread. Because at no point does this gentleman ever put up a trail cam. He doesn't set a trap. He doesn't shoot at them. It's just, if a story is too cinematic and too, full of holes for my taste, I'm immediately turned off of it. It's a good story. It's a great story. Right. If anyone wants to look it up. But as far as it ending up here, because it might be something interesting and cool, I can't get into it. If it feels like a creative writing exercise, I don't want to talk about it. I don't even want to read it. I'm a fan of text-to-speech channels that read off stories that people have written and submitted to certain websites and forums describing paranormal events that have happened to them. Excuse me. And the number one thing that turns me off of one, and I've heard hundreds of them, is if something certifiably fucked up happens and they bullshit away why they don't contact the police, or
no one would ever believe us.
Oh, well, they wouldn't. They threatened me. If it's something like that where something obvious is just skipped over, I don't care how good the story is. I don't want to read it. That's why I chose, I had actually spent a few hours reading and listening to stuff about this extracurricular Kelly-like event. But the more I learned about it, the less I wanted to talk about it.
The more it sounded just like some fucking role play.
Yeah, someone had a lot of fun sitting down and writing this shit down. But if you want to hear more cool Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter type material, highly recommend it. Don't remember what it's called, but if you look up Hopkinsville Goblin on YouTube, it's like the 5th one down.
I'll have to do that then.
Yeah, it's cool. And there's like an hour-long synopsis of it I had looked at in the car on the way here, and I debated on talking about it, but I don't know. I like the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter, and I like goblins as my main theory because it makes sense in how disjointed stuff is. Why'd they go to the cops? That doesn't make sense.
So that's going to bring us to the Occult Outpost official ranking of this story.
What's it rated? What's our scale?
1 to 10. 1 to 10.
1 to 10? What's 1?
1 is bullshit, made up, dumb, stupid.
Sad, fake, horrible. What's 10?
10 is like, I believe this 100%.
Now this is going to be a tough one, because what do we believe that they believe that it happened?
Okay,
Do we
so we'll
believe that
say
something happened?
Occult Outpost official stance.
That something paranormal happened, we'll say.
I believe it was goblins. You have changed my mind.
I'm putting it at a 7.5.
I'm going to put it at 7.5 as well.
Really? That's where your heart's at?
100%.
7.5?
Yep, I was thinking 7.5 in my head before you even said that.
That's crazy. Okay, because it's like I almost think
Yeah.
that
and if
shit's
and
real.
if it was goblins.
Goblins. I mean, true folklore, English mythology, goblins happened at the Sutton farm. Wow. That feels good.
It does. It feels good to finally come to a conclusion about this fucking story. You know, I was going to be real disappointed if, like, my final idea was owls, because
Dude,
for a
if we
while
both
there,
sat down here and we're like, yeah, owls probably did it, I would have not wanted this to even be released. To hell with that, because the more I thought about it, why do they call them goblins? They look like goblins.
But anyway, Occult Outpost 7.5 is our official ranking. We believe that it was goblins at the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter, not owls, not aliens, fucking goblins.
Yeah, you people who are trying to appease to scientists by admitting that it might have been aliens because it's not as extreme as goblins and it's not as mundane as owls. You're trying to meet in the middle. Oh, maybe it was extraterrestrials. We can't explain it. No, I can explain it, and it was goblins.
Quit being such a fucking nerd.
Yeah, quit being a pussy and quit being a nerd and call a spade a spade. They were goblins.
All right, man. Well, that's it. Anything else you wanted to say?
God, I hope people listen to this.
Oh, it's going to be a wonderful one. I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to put some of it on TikTok. I'm going to make it beautiful. That's what I've been doing, man.
Pretty good. I hope my voice isn't as people told. We got some good feedback that
We did. We definitely
our
did.
sound wasn't quite right. I wasn't projecting enough. Rory isn't saying or cursing nearly as much.
I'm also not as drunk.
And neither of us is nearly as drunk. So I think this
makes for a better show.
Yeah, if you have any more critiques, hit the email up. Drop
Email
it to them.
occultoutpost@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you want to get some short clips, if you want to see some stupid memes, or you just want to get the news, again, that's at Occult Outpost on Occult Outpost on Twitter, Occult Outpost on Instagram, and Occult Outpost podcast on TikTok.
And if you want to talk some shit, you want to send love mail, hate mail, send it. We'll read it.
Again,
we'll
email
read
us.
every
Yeah,
word.
we'll read every word of it.
It'll be awesome.
At occultoutpost@gmail.com. This has been Ranger Roo.
And Ranger Chuck.
And we hope you have a great night. We love
Okay.
you.
Turn it off.